Almond milk is being sold as the perfect alternative to cow's milk. Companies like these ones, celebs, even health advocates all claim that almond milk is king. It brings all the same uses as cow's milk, just without the ugly parts. Now, I'm not one to show gross things in my videos, but just know whether you are for or against cow's milk, the milk you see in the stores doesn't come from a pretty place. And it's also not as pretty as it looks in your fridge. Did you know that regulatory authorities actually have an exact number of the amount of pus cells allowed in milk? Yeah, that's 400 million pus cells allowed per 1 liter of milk. But that aside, this video isn't about that. It's not a video advocating for going vegan, and it's even less a video advocating for the use of almond milk. This video is a deep dive on what almond milk actually is and why it's a scam or not. Let's go on a journey together. We start back in the 60s, and American doctor John Harvey Kellogg comes out swinging a statement around which gets cereal companies all over the world very excited. We were told breakfast was the most important meal of the day. Okay, cool, we prioritize breakfast then. However, a few decades later, we find out that cereal companies actually all funded and manipulated the research to back the claims and obviously to increase their own profits. Turns out, breakfast really isn't the most important meal of the day, and most healthcare professionals currently actually believe intermittent fasting, where you actually skip breakfast, is better for you. Another similar thing happened to avocados. First, they used to be seen as super healthy back in the day. Science said so. But then a few decades later, science backtracked and said, no, wait, avocados actually are unhealthy for you. And yet, here we are today, fully convinced that avocados are green gold and one of the healthiest plant-based fats we can eat. So who can we trust? It feels like corporations are trying to scam us left, right, and center. And even the science these days seems to be on the flimsy side. My initial worry was that where can we actually honestly go to get trustworthy information? And I think the answer is simple, lies within our own minds. If we have a full understanding of how the body actually works, we can know what is healthy and what not. No company, no random skewed scientist, no lady from the tea garden can trick us into thinking anything other than the truth. So on that note, here is the truth about almond milk and how it reacts with the human body. First, how it's made. I'm going to spare you watching a 45-minute documentary on how almond milk is made by simplifying the process for you. It starts with almond nuts being put into a blender with water, usually 1 part almond, 3 part water. Then they take the sludge and put it through a net and compress all of the juices out of the fibrous mix. After that, honey, corn syrup, flavorants, preservatives, and so forth are added, and voila, you have almond milk. This process can be done with any nut, by the way, cashews, macadamias, whatever you like. Now, what's interesting about almond milk in particular is a little chemical compound called phytic acid, which almond milk has a lot of, by the way. Phytic acid does something very interesting in the body. It inhibits micronutrients like calcium and other vitamins and minerals from being what we call bioavailable in the body. It, in essence, prevents the body from absorbing micronutrients. Some would even go as far as saying, pull the vitamins out of your bones. I wouldn't take it that far. However, if you think about the type of person who usually chooses almond milk, what else do they usually also avoid? Many of them avoid animal products in general, which we know puts them in a position likely to consume less vitamin B12, vitamin D, calcium, and a bunch more. So now imagine not only are you consuming less vitamins and minerals like calcium, but when you actually do take it in, phytic acid comes into play and says, no absorption for you today. That's not good. Bone density is but only one of the big things researchers are scared of for the long-term health of vegans. But at the end of the day, we don't really know how long-term phytic acid intake will affect our bodies. We can only make assumptions based on the physiological knowledge we currently have on how the body works. There is no science to prove that a decrease in bone density due to almond intake takes place. But remember, back in the day, there also wasn't any research saying that smoking is bad for you. In fact, marathon runners used to smoke. Doctors used to smoke. TV commercials used to promote smoking as being healthy. Let me just add one thing though. It's not as straightforward as saying almond milk is unhealthy or cow's milk is healthy. Lactose intolerant people, for example, have no other option than resorting to things like almond milk, oat milk, and whatnot. And by the way, oat milk tastes disgusting, but there's a place for it. But milk in general is a very difficult topic. That's why while making this video, I already started working on a follow-up YouTube video, purely diving into the science behind how cow's milk work, showing you the physiology behind how the body reacts to it, helping us make the most informed decision for ourselves. In all honesty, as I've come to know the world and all the mega corporations running it, almond nut suppliers a few years ago probably simply saw all of their wastage and broken ugly nuts and shavings and thought to themselves, how can we make money off of this too? And that's where I believe they probably started making almond milk. One thing I want to warn us all about though is that if you search deep enough, almost anything can be seen as unhealthy. The coffee we drink, the green vegetables we eat, the air we breathe. So be careful what you search for. If you search for why almond milk is healthy, you'll find an answer. If you search for why almond milk is bad for you, you'll find an answer. The key is to know the body and how it works and to make the best educated decision possible. Always be open and teachable to learning something new. I'll see you in the next video. You might want to watch this video. YouTube thinks it's the best for you. See you in the next one. Cheers, bye.